Good day. So yeah, welcome to the next episode of Dundee in the Kitchen. We're gonna be making some smoky tuna dip and or tuna salad, whatever. We're gonna be using half a smoked tofu. That's where the smokiness comes from, and we're gonna have to use less fish. Bit better for the environment. It's cheaper and all that good stuff. And we're gonna make our own mayonnaise, some garlic mayonnaise actually. And yeah, and there's no cooking. So to make that clear, I'm gonna be using my stove as the work surface basically. So I'm gonna start with some garlic. Use multiple cloves, but honestly, one big clove should already do the trick. This is gonna be pretty powerful. I'm not making a huge quantity of mayonnaise, so I don't need a whole bunch of garlic in there. So we have a garlic, 1 second. Okay. And you're gonna need a food processor or some kind of mix. You buy, you don't want to mix mayonnaise by hand. It's gonna be a pain and a half in the butt. So yeah. Anyway, we have a food processor. This one I actually got for free. I didn't pay a single dollar. Well, I did pay like $1 then. It was like what people just left stuff that you could take away for free or leave a little bit, and I lost a couple bucks in there to other bits. Yeah. And we have some pasteurized eggs. Get me one out of here. We're gonna crack one pasteurized egg in here. The egg is basically still raw, but it is fully pasteurized, so no salmonella, no risk, no nothing. It is perfectly safe to eat. Let me turn off this heat because this stuff is pasteurized now. Okay, now it's also going to be a long and quiet. Let's get a clove of garlic. I can chop it off. You don't really need it. What? Oh, what the hell. I'm going to add a second clove of garlic. I am a sucker for garlic after all. We're not going to eat this mayonnaise by itself either. So it shouldn't be an issue if it's a bit more on the garlic stuff side. And garlic is also a little bit antibacterial and should actually help the mayonnaise last longer instead of shorter. And yeah, well, we're gonna need some salt, or I'm probably gonna use some powdered chicken stock right here. And you'll probably want a little bit of sugar, or I'm gonna do a little drizzle of maple syrup in my garlic mayonnaise. Want a little bit of sweetness in good mayonnaise. I don't generally add sweetness to savory dishes, but for mayonnaise, yeah. Okay, we have our garlic, we have our salt. Now we're gonna go in with a little bit of, actually, let's mix this up before we go any further. And then we're gonna add some vinegar, a splash of water, and then our okay. little splash of some apple cider vinegar or whatever vinegar you like. I'm gonna use a little apple cider because I like the taste. No other reason. This should be plenty. And now a little bit of water, just a little. You don't want to water down your mayonnaise, but it's gonna get too thick if I'm adding no water at all. So just a little bit of water. You can always add more, but you cannot take it out. Give it now over. I'm going to use some great for the link or more stuff. Good. It's pretty healthy and all that. This oil is pretty healthy and all the oil that's too strong flavor. It's close to olive oil in the acid profile. Thank you for the that is a main thing done. Let's check. I hope I didn't add too much water. That can get to. Yes, it's definitely on the liquid side. Probably added too much water, but didn't use a whole bunch of oil. Yeah, it is definitely on the runny side for mayonnaise. Wow, wow. So that garlic comes through. And that's actually not salty enough. Now it sounds like yes. See this? This is some fake mayonnaise. Fake and runny. Perfect. Perfect. Now we can basically just put this in a jar or whatever, in whatever you like. A little jar should work just fine. I try to make sure I have a lid for the jar and then put it in. I don't put it to a second. Okay, I'm gonna use a bigger jar than I have for the amount just because I don't have a lid for a smaller one. Well, I have a lid for a tiny one, but that one would be too small. I have the right size jar. I have a lid for the right size jar. Okay, the olive flavor definitely comes through. And I definitely would not use only olive oil. Having it like 50-50, that's all right. But yeah, olive oil is a bit too powerful for mayonnaise. At least if you use like I would say half olive oil should be the maximum. Unless you want olive oil to be the main flavor. And then you could probably just add olive oil instead of mayonnaise. Oops. She's dripping. Generally not a bad thing. And by the way, my belly isn't as big as it comes across when I'm facing sideways. You could see my back. My back is also kind of a bit pushing the belly out. If I make my back round a bit, then my belly disappears. But yeah, the mayonnaise is a harvest part. You don't have to use homemade mayonnaise. But this is definitely a healthier version, and I think that once you figure out your recipe, also a tastier one compared to store-bought mayonnaise. So yeah, I would go with some homemade mayonnaise. Anyway, next we're gonna have our tofu. We're gonna chop up half a piece of smoked tofu. That's gonna bring in our smokiness. And let's get our knife. Oops, the knife is in another room. 1 second. There it is. Well, I could have actually added more vinegar to the mayonnaise. You can also add a little splash of vinegar to the finished dish. No problem. So yeah, just half a smoked tofu, and we're gonna finally chop this. Does not have to be perfect. Just want it pretty fine. So you don't bite into individual chunks of tofu. Instead have it like combined with the tuna. Canned mackerel tastes even better, but it's hard to get. And I have some hook and line, and it's not just hook and line, but raw, like whole and line for canned tuna. Okay, this is fine now. No need to go overboard with the fineness. Just get it fine as you can without making a struggle out of it, you know. This is a lazy meal. It is not a complicated fancy meal or anything like that. Like I said, the mayonnaise is a tricky spot. I'm gonna get a pan of tuna. Hey Kamari, what's up? Cracks a can. And just take about half of this can. This is gonna have just the right amount of protein for one meal. Half the tofu, half a can of tuna. And now just add some of our mayonnaise. I'm gonna scrape a little bit more out of the food processor. And then we're gonna take a dollop out of the glass. This should be enough. You can also add some Greek yogurt or something, so you don't have to put as much mayonnaise. Okay, it does need a little more mayonnaise. Okay, so don't need it. There's actually not as much mayonnaise on here. It's a little spatula. This should be enough mayonnaise now. Yeah, this is enough now. If I wanted any creamer, yeah, I'm just gonna add some Greek yogurt. Yeah, I'm gonna add some Greek yogurt. A little splash of apple cider vinegar. I'm gonna bring the tofu and actually the mayo into the fridge now. All right, so here I have the lid. The tuna, the mayo, and all of this going into the fridge. In 1 second. And in 1 second, we're gonna add a little bit of Greek yogurt, and I could put the popcorn, like corn actually goes really well from the lean as a profile. Corn mixes very well with tofu or soy. I'm gonna have to use anything corn based. Yeah, now we have our finished smoky tuna tofu dip with homemade garlic mayonnaise. Yeah. Yes. And put them here. I'm just gonna use some. Thank you. I'm just gonna use some corn cakes, like rice cakes they're made from corn. I think they taste better. And again, the amino acid profile makes it better. Mm-hmm. Why can't you use a tiny bit of sweetness in the middle? Okay. But I do have to say, so it doesn't taste as good. I think because I use olive oil. It's better to make a mayonnaise without olive oil. Like some sunflower or some canola oil. But it's still good. And yeah, I don't have to show you how I eat all of this. But thank you all for watching. See you guys on the next one. Bye. Dundee out.